Okay, so let's talk about your old boss that died.
Oh, dude. I forgot about. Wasn't that awesome when I sent you
Yeah, I
that
was like, what the
text?
fuck? How did you even
Well,
know?
because I was listening to our last week's episode and you were like, what's his name? Where's his address? So I was like trying to find out.
Mm.
And I see a GoFundMe
Oh my
and it
God.
has his name, it has his picture, dude. I actually screenshot it. I want to show you.
That's crazy.
And it was in July 2022, so it was a little while ago.
So he just died
Yeah, like
last year.
last year.
Oh wow, he's old. He's too old to be working at the movie
But he's
theater.
not even old. He just looks old as shit. You know? He
How
looks like,
old is he?
I don't know, like 50 or something.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, he had really bad health, I remember. So he died.
Okay.
And I was like, I was almost going to write on the
Is
GoFundMe.
like fuck you.
Yeah, I was going to be like, he's the
Is it
worst boss.
is that the one that liked your ex?
No, that was just a manager.
Okay.
This was like the general
Boss?
manager.
Okay.
I mean, he
Damn.
probably liked her too, but
Everyone liked her.
yeah, I
Damn.
guess so.
That's crazy.
He
So,
liked all the girls. That's why he got investigated
oh,
and
shit.
he had to change locations.
Weird.
Yeah. He was gross, dude. And look at all these people donated to his
How much did
GoFundMe.
he get?
He got 4,800.
All right.
But like, I was almost gonna write in it and be like, he was the worst boss. He's a terrible human. But I was like, I don't think
Petty.
anyone's. It would have made me feel better.
Yeah, but no one's looking at his GoFundMe
No one's looking
anymore.
at it anymore.
Except for the person that created it. They get a message.
So I still might.
Yeah. Does it say who made it?
I donate like 10 cents.
You have to. I think you're required to donate at least like $5 or
Oh
something,
hell no.
or maybe
Yeah,
a dollar
it says
fifty.
the person.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he wasn't married or anything.
Nah. It's a I don't know who this person is. Maybe it's like his sister or something.
Oh man.
Look at
Okay.
him. Look at that asshole.
He's not a bad-looking man, if I'm being honest.
Dude, he has like no teeth though.
Oh God.
Disgusting.
I can't. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. He smiles and he's just like
Like that. So yeah, that's the news for the week.
Okay, well that's like that's karma, right? Would you say that's karma?
That he died.
Yeah.
I mean, he was gonna die
Because
eventually.
it's possible that like he was like not just a bad boss, but he was just maybe a bad person. Especially if he was like hitting on his employees.
Yeah, I mean, he probably wasn't a great person. I feel like he was very fake, and that's why like people would come and be like, "Oh, like so nice to him," but he was fake to people, like except to the employees. He was like an asshole to us. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let's talk about fake people. That's actually interesting.
Yeah, dude, he was so freaking fake. Like as soon as like these certain types of people came, because I guess he was trying to run for mayor.
What?
In Monrovia, so he was super fake. And all these like political people would come or whatever, and he'd be like all happy and nice, and I'm like, who is this guy?
It was it was Monrovia, right? So every time I would go to Monrovia, it felt like I was in a completely different part of LA. It's such a weird little town. And like when you say, oh, he was running for mayor, I think of like the mayor from like Portlandia or something, and it's just like a very small town that everyone's like, oh, there's the mayor.
I mean, it does have that small town feel, and that's probably why it feels different than other places.
Yeah.
Because they try to keep small businesses, like...
It feels very Disney, and I don't know how to explain that, but it's just like...
I can see that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Like, they don't like to have, like, a lot of homeless people. It's like, it's white people that live there, so... But there's also Hispanics, too, and, like, even, what's that one serial killer? Richard Ramirez?
I don't know.
He killed somebody there in the 80s, so... There's bad things that have happened there, just like any other place, but it does have a weird, like...
Disney
feel to it.
Yeah. Like there's no roaches.
There's no flies. There's this. Yeah.
Okay.
Never thought about that.
Fake people. What's your most recent encounter with a fake person?
Um, Probably like these girls at my job.
Are you your
See,
coworkers
this is
or
what, yeah, they're
okay?
like, kind of like my coworkers, but they work at like the office.
Mm,
So they don't do the same thing as me. They do
okay.
like nothing.
They sit on their ass.
Yeah. And it's funny because my other coworker, she's like, every time I see them, they're just eating.
Oh my god. You already know what type of girls those are.
Yeah,
They eating hot Cheetos?
they are, dude. No, hot Funyuns
Hot fries?
actually. Yeah, hot something.
Although I don't have a problem with those girls. They're usually like cool, but
Nah,
not with
dude.
you.
I mean, like, I'm cool with them, but I can still tell that they're fake because they just like they act different when they're there, you
Yeah.
know? And then like you see them in like a different setting. Like I went out with them, one of the girls was there, and she was being like super chill and everything, but then you got to get like your boss pants on or whatever.
Boss pants?
Yeah, you got to
Okay.
act all bossy.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, dude, like just be the same like all the time.
I don't understand why people are very fake. I've
Yeah.
come across this a lot, and I don't
Because
know.
you can spot it out too right
Yeah, I
away.
guess I feel like I get like a sense of people. Like I get a vibe from people.
Hmm.
Um, and I try to be nice, or when I sense that somebody's like fake or like being weird, like manipulative,
You think fake and manipulative is like
they
the
I
same?
think they go hand in hand.
Okay, okay. Interesting.
Um, I
I can see
just
that.
I try to close myself off and then to those people and
Mm.
they don't like it.
Hmm.
And then that always happens.
So, do you have a situation where you were with the fake person and they were pissed at you because you weren't like being open or whatever?
Um yeah, I've had like situations where there was a coworker. This always happens with coworkers, I feel, right? I think because you're like
Yeah,
forced to be in situations with them.
around these people, yeah.
And it's usually always like people that are there long term that are like the
Yeah,
fakest ass people.
that's so true.
Um,
Damn.
I befriended a coworker and we would like go to the gym or hang out and stuff. And eventually I found out that this person was talking shit about me.
Really?
Yeah. And
Oh, I know.
yeah. And it was just very awkward because it was such a small circle of
Yeah.
coworkers, and it was very inevitable for it to like get out.
Mm.
So once I found out, I closed myself off, and she would try to talk to me or talk shit about other coworkers to me, and I was like, no, like we're not doing
You
this.
didn't confront her about it?
Yeah, I actually did,
Cool.
and it just became really awkward.
What did she say? She denied? That's what they do, right?
Yeah, usually it's
Huh?
denial. Like, what are you talking about?
They
Um,
can't admit it because they're fake, dude.
yeah,
Do they
and
even know they're fake? Like,
that's the crazy part.
I don't think they do.
I also don't. I know a lot of people do this too, but when there's a lot of people that I don't think are fake, but they do change their personality when they're around other people.
Yeah.
And those people, to me, I don't think they're being
Chameleons.
fake, but they're just like not being so genuine or authentic with who they really
Yeah,
are.
like they don't know how to be themselves. And that's kind of what I was saying about those girls is like
Yeah.
they're not being themselves and like I can't tell who they really are.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say you're like fake.
Fake. And it just throws me off
Mhm.
a lot actually, and I can't stand cuz I feel like in so many situations I always come across those type of people.
Yeah. I feel
And
like it's happened a lot to you.
it's frustrating because I'm like, are people just like this, or is anybody like similar to me where they want someone to talk to that's real? And like,
Everyone's fake. Everyone's simulations, remember?
oh god, not that I'm saying like I'm this like super real, honest person, but I try to be as much as I can, and
You're woke.
No, I don't think that.
I'm just kidding.
I don't know if there are other people that are searching for that or are
Yeah.
aware of, I don't
I
know, when
think
they're not being real.
I think there's different levels of like fakeness. Like there's some people who aren't blunt and tell the truth like we do.
Yeah.
And those types of people like beat around the bush, like they avoid confrontation and like, okay, fine, whatever, you're uncomfortable being like super honest and upfront.
Yeah.
That doesn't necessarily mean they're fake, but then there's like super fake people who are like acting nice to your face and then
Yeah.
like they turn
Yeah.
around and talk shit about you, or they're nice to someone, like the Regina Georges out
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Like, there's people like that, dude, and it's
I
scary.
know. And don't get me wrong, I can actually be like that. I know I can be like that when I sense that someone's like that with me.
Yeah, I guess you kind of have to be.
When I sense that like there's somebody I can't trust, especially in a work environment, I'll be nice to you because I have to,
Yeah.
or like civil, but I won't trust you, and I'll also play this front where it's like you think I like you and you think we're
We're not
we're doing
cool.
this. Yeah, we're doing like a dance in a way.
Yeah, because at work you have to be like cool with people because you don't want to have like tension
Yeah.
or whatever. It's
Yeah.
really annoying. Another reason to just be self-employed. Don't have to deal with all that.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of went away from karma.
It did.
Do you want to go back to karma?
It doesn't matter.
Okay. Do you believe in karma?
I do. Sometimes I feel that the universe doesn't come back fast enough with karma.
Yeah.
I think it
Like
takes too long.
get them back right away.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
show me something good.
Yeah. I definitely believe in it too. I feel like I've done bad things. And then like bad things have happened to me. I'm like, okay, I deserve this. Like,
Yeah, right? I feel the same way. Especially in just like smaller examples of when I've stolen things.
yeah.
Again, I don't steal things from people. It's more just Target that I'm after.
No,
And
you've stolen shit from me, dude.
um I and it's more of like a mental thing where I'm like I hate, like, I don't want to say necessarily hate, but capitalism isn't the best situation that our society is in.
Communism's much better.
I'm not saying that either. But I definitely think that these large corporations, they can afford to lose some stolen products or merchandise. So
Get hacked.
yeah.
Whatever's gonna happen to them. Okay.
But anyway,
Yeah.
whenever I have stolen things, they usually end up breaking.
Oh damn, that's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
That's freaking perfect example.
Yeah,
of karma.
in a smaller situation of
Yeah.
karma. I can't think of I can't I know I've experienced karma from things that I've done. I can't say that I can remember right now off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But
No,
would you have an example
well, the only things I could think about is like the shitty things I've done in like relationships.
of
Like I really liked that one girl. Remember
Yeah.
we did karaoke with her?
Yeah.
And then like I just like one day woke up and I was like, I don't like her anymore, and I just told her like I just like ghosted her basically.
Yeah, that's
I was like,
up.
oh, let's be friends, but like I never talked to her again.
Oof.
And
Harsh.
I felt kind of bad, but like not really. So I'm pretty sure karma happened to me like just by the shit that I went through with like my last breakup. Like,
Yeah.
that was really shitty.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, yeah, that pretty much that, you know.
Yeah, would you say what happened in your last relationship to you? You would say it's all because of what happened in that previous relationship?
I would say like from a karmic perspective, yeah.
Okay.
But also like I did not see red flags, and I like ignored them. Also, I might have been like what's it called, not desperate but settling.
Okay.
I think I was settling, and like I was just very naive and ignorant to like what was really going on because I didn't want to date anymore.
Yeah. Who does?
Yeah, it's freaking hard, dude. So I was like you know me, dude, when I'm like in a relationship, I'm like, oh, it's all good, like even though like they could freaking be stealing money from me.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, it's fine though, like they love me.
I know, it was crazy. I remember one of your relationships, you're like, yeah, she says that I have to pay for everything, and we have the same job and we make the same
Yeah.
amount of money.
Yeah, see, shit like that, dude.
And I was like, what the fuck?
So it's definitely like my fault. I think like don't ignore the red flags. Like, have you had an experience where you saw red flags and you ignored it, or you saw them and you were like, hell nah?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, everybody has.
I've seen red flags. I was like, I mean, you know, he does drugs every once in a while. And I'm like, it's not so often though. He's functioning.
Yeah.
And then
make excuses.
I was just like cool with it because I didn't know how severe, not severe. I don't want to say this person was like a fucking stone cold drug addict, but like
yeah.
They did drugs more often than I thought, and more often than I would like in a partner.
Yeah.
So later on I was just like, you know, yeah, at first I saw those red flags, but then I was like, oh, it's fine. And then later on I was like, no, this is not cool.
Yeah, that's good that
this
you
is
did
not
that.
okay.
Because you realize, like, after so many times, you're like, you had to, like, really think about it.
Yeah, well, also other red flags just started adding up. You know when red flags just add up?
Yeah.
And, like, you're, like, little red flags, and then you just kind of combined everything, and you're thinking to yourself, why am I doing this?
Yeah, for sure. And like that happened to me too, like several times. Like it all built up and I was like, oh, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
But like girls are more manipulative.
Oh god.
And I think they can sense when you hit that point.
Yeah.
And they start to change.
What do you mean they start to change
they start to act right.
Oh god. Explain though.
So like I was gonna break up with my ex because I was just like so fed up with like the way she was acting. And I was like, yeah, I can't be with someone like that. Like I've already done this before.
Yeah.
And then like I think she like noticed like the way I was acting, and then she was like, she just started acting like way different, more like committing and just like super nice and just like chill about everything.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, cool. Like this is nice. So I was like, yeah, things are going back to normal or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they were, but I think she was just being manipulative.
Yeah, like it was only a temporary thing.
Yeah. And I feel like that's like a girl thing, but I mean, I'm sure guys do it too.
No, guys definitely do it. It's so annoying. Okay. But they do it in the most like stupid way.
Yeah.
Like it'll be like obvious shit.
They're like buying you flowers and
shit. Yeah. Okay. Or yeah, things like that. Yeah. Like standard things that gifts. Other guys think that's helping. And in reality it's like, no, how about you just remember what I was saying?
Yeah, they don't remember things.
Guys are funny. Like girls get it. You know, for a lot of the things, they understand the mental part of what other people are asking of them.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just like I like the way you're explaining, you're saying how they're manipulative, that fucking scares me. It feels like
that would scare you more than guys buying you flowers. Yeah. It is scary, dude. And honestly, like I'm kind of dumb. Like so I'm like, oh yeah, all good. But like you said, girls are like more like mental about it. And like they'll like turn shit on you.
Yeah.
And I'm like this hype that doesn't pay attention to like all the little details. So they'll be saying like, but you said that, and I'm like, fuck, when did I say that?
See, and that's me.
Wait, which part?
Where I keep receipts. Like I
Oh,
keep
right,
track of
right.
my receipts.
Yeah.
And I bring it up and I say, "Well, you said this in fucking July." And
Damn.
um
And guys are like, what?
guys are like,
Yeah, a
I
little
don't
slow.
remember. Like they're
Yeah.
all stupid.
Yeah.
Um
That's me. No, just kidding.
That's you.
Not that bad, but like, yeah. It's tough, dude. No, I want to talk about should we do hard things or live the comfortable good life, because this is literally what I've been thinking lately.
Mm-hmm.
Like my life right now, dude, is so freaking comfortable. Like my mom makes me breakfast, lunch and dinner. And I have like super chill job and everything. But I want to go to the army.
Yeah.
Like what is wrong with me?
I don't know. You're crazy.
Yeah. So what I realized is, and this is like, I've been thinking a lot about it because the other day I had to go to this place to take a medical test for the army.
Right.
And I had to stay, I was there all day, dude. Because this place is like the DMV, but worse. Like they do everything slow. They're super rude. And like we're not even soldiers yet,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So it was super annoying, the whole process. But I was like, I was in a bad mood the whole time, and I was feeling very ungrateful. Like they got us lunch, and it was like a shitty ass lunch. It was a sandwich with a hot dog bun.
Ew.
Yeah, and
What the
I was like, seriously, like you guys can't like freaking give us real bread. Like this is a hot dog bun. But then like everybody else was like fine with it.
Okay.
And everybody was like, "Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am," because they know, hey, we're going to the army. Like they're getting ready to
Maybe that's a test on its own.
be,
A
yeah.
hot dog bun.
Dude, it was a joke. So I just felt weird because everybody was acting the certain way that we're actually supposed to act when we go to like basic training, but I was resisting it.
Mm-hmm.
And it reminded me of a lot of how I felt in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Like I felt a resistance towards conforming to what other people wanted me to do,
right.
how people wanted me to act. And I know like this kind of goes back to how we were in like previous jobs, you know? Like I feel like always had a problem with authority.
Right.
And especially with people who aren't respecting me.
Right.
So I feel like, you know, if you're not respecting me, I'm not going to respect you.
Yeah.
But in this situation where we're going to get a test for the army, that goes out the door, cuz in basic training, like they don't have to respect us.
Yeah.
We have to respect them, and that's what we're being trained to do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's right, but it's like how did I go back to something that I used to feel in high school like over 10 years later?
Yeah, that's true.
I haven't felt that way in a long, long time.
Yeah.
And I was there and I was like, why is everyone like simping over all these people, dude?
Yeah.
Like you don't need to act like that, but like actually we do.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's wrong with me? Like, why am I doing this? And I think it's because I've just been like super comfortable lately. Going back to like how I used to be, like living with my mom and like all that stuff, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, what are your thoughts?
I don't know. It's a little complicated because you're gonna take it for what you want to see it. I see your part of resistance as you breaking this cycle of mentality that we were originally trained to think in high school and just in middle school and elementary. Like we were trained to always obey and not resist. And I think you're fighting it because that's you. But like I said, you know, you're going to take it or see it for however you see it. But just from my perspective, I think, I don't think it's a bad thing that you're questioning this. I don't.
Yeah.
I think the military is not a great place. I can see why you want to do it and the benefits of it, because they sometimes to other people they'll outweigh, all the cons.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it's a great place for like your just like your mental well-being.
Mm-hmm.
Um they're basically brainwashing you to obey and think that these people are right and these people are
Mm-hmm.
the people you should be listening to. And they're essentially getting you ready for war, not you like
Yeah,
directly,
but they
but
have to get everybody ready
yeah.
for something serious to
Yeah,
happen.
and that's what it's for, and
Yeah.
that's um
So you think it's a good thing they're doing it?
no.
Okay.
I don't
There could be a better way.
no, I'm just saying I I'm not like pro military. I see why you're doing it and I'm supportive of that, but I'm not for, you know, the military. I don't think the overall concept of it is good for people in general.
Yeah.
Um and the same could apply even in the workplace. Like I was
Mhm.
mentioning at Enterprise, it's a similar dynamic of how they
Mhm.
brainwash their employees
Yeah. It's
to
crazy.
listen and to always be at the top or to be number one, and
Sales are like that, dude. Like
sales in general.
they're
Yeah.
brainwashing people. Like I don't know if you heard of the show Dope Sick on Hulu, but it's about like the pharmaceutical company and how
Hmm.
they were selling it's like a really addictive narcotic that treats pain.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called, but it's been banned now. But like the people who were selling it were completely lying because they were getting so many incentives, but they were lying to the doctors, they were lying to everybody.
Yeah.
And they didn't even know the truth, but because of like the money, like they believed anything.
Yeah. And that's what capitalism does to us, that's just the pharmaceutical industry in general, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, they're terrible.
Um, a lot of it is based off of getting the patient just kind of addicted and relying on something rather than curing or fixing.
Oxycontin, that's what it's
Oh.
called. uh,
um,
yeah.
rather than fixing or curing what the actual problem is, or maybe,
Mm-hmm.
getting the patient on more healthy options rather than addictive.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
and I think all of that is still similar to sales and the military, like all of it. It's just like,
It's all the same.
yeah, in a way, I don't know how to explain that better, but to me, I see it all very similar in these
Yeah,
similar patterns. Um,
I get you.
yeah, but I mean, I at least you're questioning that, and
Yeah,
I think it's just important to
keep
be aware of it.
yeah, like I felt like a weirdo because everybody else was like super fine with everything going on and they're acting like robots, like, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. I didn't say that one time.
Yeah,
But to me, I was like, damn, like if I'm gonna still act like this, I'm gonna have a really hard time
yeah,
in basic training. And I'm like, do I wanna have a hard time and be like stubborn? Or do I wanna just be myself and see how it turns out? Like, am I gonna just struggle or am I gonna conform and be numb to what's actually going on?
yeah. And I don't know. I don't know what that's gonna be like. It'll be an experience for
Yeah,
you.
it'll be interesting.
Um, I just know that when I was in sales, I had the hardest time conforming,
Mm-hmm.
even when I sometimes wanted to give in, and
Wow.
because it takes a toll on you. Those are the only people you're surrounded with, and I kind of understand why those hours were so long, and it was because you wouldn't have time to spend with your friends or family,
Damn.
and it was just going to be your coworkers, and it just everything's set up in that company for you to feel like it's, yeah, like you're in the army or you're in like a
Like that's your whole
fraternity or
life.
something.
They
Yeah.
wanted. So why is it that we and like I guess if some other people, not many, maybe
Hmm.
don't want to conform to like, I guess, authority, or to just being conform to anything, really.
Yeah. I feel like there's some of us that get it. I think we just get it. It clicks, it makes sense. We're also probably more open minded
Mm.
to and have probably listened to other people's experiences in life or perspectives.
Hmm.
And we kind of just like make or combine all of those thoughts and experiences and ideas and make it our own. And then when we see the world for itself, we kind of just logically we want to resist because we know that this is probably not the best way people could be living.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
There's always more options, and I feel like people forget that. Like, they think there's
yeah,
just like one thing.
yeah, it was kind of sad because I told you I go on Reddit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I saw this thread. I follow this I follow a student loan thread, I guess. Student loans because I still have student loans. And then I follow a mental health thread or something. I don't know the proper terminology for these like sections or comment, I don't know. Um but I had seen somebody post that they were they were considering suicide because of
What?
their student debt,
Dude, that's just sad.
and it just kind of made
Uh,
me like sad to read that because
oh yeah.
you think about it and money and debt aren't real, right? Like your life is real, you're alive,
Yeah.
but money is just a concept and it's not real. And there's so many people in the world that do kill themselves because they're in debt, because they owe money and they don't
Damn.
know what else to do. And it's like fucked up that our society allows this to happen for people to feel so overwhelmed that they kill themselves to something that's not even real. You know?
Wow.
I don't know if does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, it was made up by the government, by
Right.
society, and now it's making someone want to kill themselves. Like, that's not right. Something has to be fixed.
Yeah, and it's just fucked up because the idea of debt isn't a real thing, right? Like that money doesn't actually exist.
Right.
And we scare people with these numbers of money that doesn't actually exist.
It's
And if you think
ridiculous.
about it, we destroy all those concepts and we were just to live on the land, like we would still be perfectly fine and alive. And that is real. You know, as a human, we'll be we're living, but money isn't real and debt isn't real. And it's fucked up that capitalism has brainwashed people into thinking that that's a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I went off on this point,
Well,
but what
you keep bringing up capitalism.
um yeah, well that's always just like, you know, a thought that I have.
What happened
Um
to you?
dude, capitalism fucked us over. We're like, you know, Latino women and it's never been on our side.
No,
It hasn't.
just the white man.
And you know, especially just like our parents, our grandparents, it's never been on our side. Like the system wasn't built for us to succeed. So,
Hmm.
but here we are still trying to like make it happen.
Yeah. I feel like for a lot of people, the system's not built for them to succeed, but
Yeah.
people still do. And I feel like, to me, succeeding in a capitalist world is better than just succeeding just because you're born rich, or,
Yeah, totally.
stuff like that. So,
And I can't say that I completely hate capitalism because eventually I want to be an entrepreneur or have my own business or something.
right, right.
And I'm going to need to work in the system in order to get better, you know, or have a successful business.
Yeah.
So I can't say I completely hate it. I think it needs a lot of fixing.
I think this society is capitalism is better for people who are entrepreneurs because that's what they want.
Yeah, it allows you the freedom to, or quotation marks, freedom to be able to start from the bottom and then work your way to the top. Um, but in this race, it's not really freedom, because a person that has already had generational wealth, and let's say their dad's a doctor, their grandpa's a doctor, their great grandpa's a doctor, and they already have that one up on somebody, as or their family members weren't doctors. That person's already like so many steps ahead
Oh yeah,
in being successful.
for sure.
So I guess you can say it's freedom, but it's not.
It's just not.
You have to figure out all these obstacles to get there, to be close to those successful people, that have already had generational wealth, and
Hmm.
you know
I don't honestly, dude. I don't know enough about capitalism to even be saying all this stuff, but I do think that it's definitely possible for us to be successful. I mean, yes, it will be harder, but it's definitely possible
yeah,
for that person that is in so much debt and wants to kill themselves. I think there's so many factors that go into that. Like, obviously, their mental health isn't doing well.
right,
So I think they need to work on that first, which hopefully they can even get the strength to attempt to get help.
yeah,
Because sometimes people, like, you get to a point when you're like, I have no hope.
yeah,
So they're not going to ask for help. So definitely mental health is a huge part of that. And like, maybe they should go into a facility where someone can help them figure out what to do with their debt, because there's definitely things that can be done. Like, it's more and more obstacles, yes,
yeah,
but I know there's things that can be done to help with debt relief. And it's, if this person is mentally unstable, if this person's suicidal, they should definitely have debt relief. And
yeah, it's true.
I think that is a thing, but it's not something like on a billboard or not
Yeah,
something we see all the time. But it's like those little things that, like, oh, I didn't know that. Like, you could do that.
yeah, like resources, and a lot of
Yeah.
people that don't have access to resources, or don't have so much knowledge, or people around them with that knowledge. They think that the world's gonna end, and or they think
Yeah.
their world's gonna end.
Yeah.
um it's really sad. It's really sad how much we just, and I know we kind of keep saying this, but how much our society doesn't care about mental health, and
Oh,
that's
yeah.
one of
Yeah.
like
For
the
sure.
hugest problems that we have.
Yeah.
um
I feel like if your mental health isn't in order or you're not constantly working on it, then it's just going to lead to worse things like addiction
yeah,
or.
yeah, and that's why so many people are addicted, because they're
Mhm.
coping, because their mental health isn't okay, and
Yeah.
that's a fast way to make it go away sometimes.
Mhm. Yeah, they don't know what else to do.
I I think that I was there's just so many threads that I see or pop up. Um, there's a lot of people that say my therapist doesn't care about me. Like, I don't like my therapist. My like There's so many people that say that, and it's really sad. Mm. So the fact that there's people that went through all those obstacles to do that, and then they don't even give a shit about their patients, it's crazy to me.
Oh, you mean the therapists that don't give a shit?
Yeah, like, why is there so many therapists that don't care?
Um, I don't know. Maybe they're just burned out. Maybe
Yeah,
they need to
right?
work on themselves too. That's why it's
There,
so hard to be a therapist, because you're helping other people, but
yeah.
you need to, just as much as you're helping others, like, you need to work on yourself too.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying last week is I just I don't think it's good that we set therapists up for failure once they
Right.
graduate. I think that's fucked up.
You definitely need to be like a certain type of person.
Yeah.
Um, but I was gonna say, dude, I don't think I told you, but I went to an AA meeting last week with the residents at my work.
Okay. I was like,
I just
Something
went.
going on?
So they were like, "Oh, we're having an AA meeting. We're also having an SLAA meeting, and
What is that?
it's sex, love, addiction."
Okay.
And I never even heard of that, but it's basically people who are addicted to relationships and sex, obviously,
Yeah.
because they're trying to fill a hole, and it's usually something like a broken relationship when they're growing up, with
Yeah.
parents or guardians or whatever. So they're constantly like needing love, wanting love and validation,
Right.
and like it's kind of dumb because aren't we all?
Yeah.
But theirs is so severe that they will do anything for this person. And if they're not getting that validation, like they'll have to numb themselves by drinking, or these type of people usually like go out all the time and never like,
Okay.
they can't even hold a steady relationship even though they want one so
Something.
bad. They don't know how. And like,
Yeah.
they don't know how to love themselves first. And like, of course, we're all going through that, but theirs is like very, very severe.
Yeah. Do you know who Whitney Cummings is?
Yeah.
She's a comedian.
Yeah.
She always says that she was a love addict and that she went to
Yeah.
AA meetings.
It's a real thing, dude.
Yeah, no, I believe it. It's just
Isn't that crazy?
yeah, it is.
Okay,
I don't know how else to explain it. I believe it. I believe people are like that. I've met people who I don't know.
I've never personally met someone like that I know of, but the only reason why I know about it now is because I was there at the meeting and the lady was speaking about her own experience from it. And she was saying, when she got in her 30s, everyone's having kids, getting married, and like obviously we're 30, we're not doing that yet. But I feel like we at least know a right relationship from a wrong one.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this woman, she didn't care who she was in a relationship with as long as somebody was loving her.
Yeah.
And she just needed any attention. And she said she was the last one at the club because she was always looking for someone to go home with. Like, she couldn't be alone, things like that. And even like the people who are addicted to alcohol, like, dude, these stories were crazy.
Yeah.
Like, they were so freaking inspiring.
Yeah, it is some other shit.
I think everyone should go because
for sure.
Even I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm not even addicted to anything serious like this. Like, we're all addicted to something. But I felt very inspired by them just because they were able to overcome something that was like so tough for them. So like this guy who is addicted to alcohol and drugs, he said that like when he first smoked weed when he was like 13, he felt like he can turn off the thoughts in his brain.
That's cool.
And he was addicted to that feeling because his thoughts were like, oh, like you're a piece of shit, like you're never gonna do anything good in your life, like, and like just worried like, oh, my dad's gonna beat my ass when I get home. Like, obviously he wasn't having a good like home life,
right?
So he was able to numb himself, and then he was addicted to that, and it became his whole life, where that was all he was doing, and all his friends were just drug dealers or whatever.
Yeah.
And
that's crazy.
And then he finally went to an AA meeting, and that changed his life.
He related.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the concept of AA is a good idea as a form of therapy.
Yeah.
Sometimes when it involves like too much religion, I don't think it's entirely necessary.
I didn't even know that the 12 steps, it is religion based because they have to find a higher power. It's part of the steps.
It's like, I get it and I understand why people do that. But if we separate the non-addicts and just have a type of therapy environment like AA without all the religion and addiction, or there could be some addiction, but I think that type of therapy is I think it's really helpful for people and how they can express themselves, and just to be in a group of people where they're struggling and everyone can share a story, and maybe there's going to be a lot of people that are going to relate to those stories. So I think that form of therapy is probably more beneficial than probably a lot of other types of therapy.
So you mean like a group of people just being vulnerable?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Have you seen the Pamela Anderson documentary?
No.
It's actually pretty good. And it's kind of sad
Is it on
because,
Netflix?
yeah,
Okay, I'll watch it.
I would say like she would kind of come close to maybe someone that was like a love addict.
For sure.
She married so many times, and she admits like she's just like a hopeless romantic. She's always just looking for love.
Yeah.
Um, and in that documentary, you just kind of see how like the world just picked at her and kind of took her apart. And
Damn.
you know, when you see her speaking, she just seems like a regular person. Like she maybe she made mistakes or things like that, but she doesn't regret it, and
Hmm.
she just talks very, I don't know, like she has integrity and like
Hmm.
morals for herself, you know. Despite there was a sex tape.
Oh.
You knew about that, right?
Yeah.
There was a sex tape, and somebody broke into her house and took all her VHS tapes with her and her husband,
What?
and they
They
released
leaked
it
it? Oh my
before
gosh.
like the internet was like huge and stuff.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And she says in that documentary, she says, I would never, even if someone offered me billions of dollars, I would never try to make money off of that. They offered me $5 million
What?
to have the rights to that movie, and
Hell
she
no.
refused it. And it just kind of
That's
shows you what kind of
disgusting.
person she is. And
Hmm.
it kind of shows you like you can make this idea of her. The whole world wanted her to be just this boobs, like just
Yeah.
boobs. Like she wasn't even a person. She was just this lady
She's
that
just
had boobs
seriously.
and was sexualized and objectified.
Damn.
And they just made her that. And like as if she wasn't a human being or a person.
I mean, the media does that to so many
Yeah.
celebrities, especially women. Like, they're not a person. They don't have even like a personality. They're
Yeah.
just like a pretty face or whatever, and they just anything they do is like wrong.
Yeah. And it's kind of, I don't know, it's an interesting documentary to watch because we were really young when she was kind of a big thing, and
Yeah.
just to see it more explained, it, I don't know, I think it's a little more wholesome or fulfilling.
I think that's cool they did that for her.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And there's a portion too where they were talking about how even though she was super famous and everything, everyone was making money off of her, and she actually wasn't making any money, like off of a lot of things, like
Of
Playboy,
course.
the sex tape. Like everyone was just making money off of her.
How does
And
that
there's times
happen?
where she says that she wasn't sure if her card was going to get declined, and like,
What?
yeah. Um, but anyway, that went off of topic because we were talking about addiction and things like
Yeah.
that.
I mean, she probably had the sex love addiction. Like, she really needed like that love and
Love,
attention,
yeah,
and she was finding it in wrong places. I mean, I think a lot of people have it, like even if it's severe or just even a little bit.
yeah,
But the woman that was speaking at the meeting, she was saying that like she's married now, and like this is something all the people had mentioned, that they were so surprised at how the normal life is so boring, but it's about becoming okay with that.
yeah. I know. I'd imagine like your life on drugs is probably so much more fun than
Yeah.
like regular life.
I mean, I don't know if fun is the word, but I mean, it definitely wasn't boring. Like, they had to figure out, like, where they're going to get their next drug, how are they going to get the money?
Yeah, it's like a
Like,
constant survival thing of
yeah.
trying to find your
Or
happiness. I don't
they
know.
keep trying to get that next hit of
High.
something, that next high.
Yeah.
Same for the woman with the relationships. And, like, she's saying, like, her husband now, like, not she didn't say he was boring, but she just said he's nothing that she had wanted like before.
Yeah.
And she's totally happy with her boring life, and that's sometimes how I feel, like, and maybe you do too, because I feel like we are pretty mentally healthy.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel like when I'm going into work, go to the gym, I'm like, oh, like my routine is so boring.
Yeah.
But like it's about being okay with that.
I guess that's true. I'm just kind of naturally, I like to be spontaneous. and I think that's just in me. I do like structure and comfort.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like it for that long though.
Mm. Yeah, I don't. I mean,
Um,
I don't think we should like be like robots like every day. Like obviously, like you know, I think we should definitely like be spontaneous every once in a
yeah.
while and do fun things. But like we have that privilege because we know how to plan things out and
I like to be adventurous and spontaneous and um I think being just like too structured and too working this like 9 to 5 job and like doing the same. Yeah, that bores me. That bores me. I think it does to anybody, right?
to a lot of people. I'm not saying like you need to have 9 to 5, but like the normal day to day things like getting errands done. Like
Yeah.
we are fine with doing that stuff.
Yeah.
Where like these people who have been addicted to things like most of their lives haven't been able to do that at all. It's
Yeah.
like a
Okay.
huge task for them, and they all said that they're like, I'm okay with like this one guy was saying how he was taking care of his grandma. He had to clean up her shit. He's like,
Oof.
I'm grateful for it because I would have never been able to do this before. The fact that I'm able to do this now and not get like raging upset, like just like moderately upset,
Yeah.
is like a huge thing.
I mean, I'd be pissed if I had to pick my
I
grandma's
mean,
shit.
yeah,
It's
like
probably doesn't smell good.
of course, like anybody would be pissed, but like the fact that he's even with his grandma, I guess, is a
Yeah,
huge
that's a
thing.
huge thing.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I just thought it was crazy because I'm sitting there, I'm like, my normal ass life, because I'm around all these people who have
Yeah.
issues and they're going through all this shit, and I'm like, I ain't going through shit, you know? Like, I
You're
got like,
comfortable.
I'm like, I got boring ass life compared to all these people, but I'm like cool with it.
I think that's why sometimes I gravitate towards like crazy people like that because I'm just
Yeah.
like they're so interesting and they have such
People with ADHD, right?
like I think just crazy people in general.
They are crazy.
I think because they have like the best stories. They
Yeah.
have like even I think I gravitate towards like crazy old people that have retired from that shit. But they
Yeah.
do have the best stories and like
Yeah, for sure.
um I just like to listen to them and hear like their experiences and their wisdom on life and shit because those are the people that probably have the best wisdom. They've lived a life, a hard life.
Yeah.
Um and those are people I want to hear and that I care to hear
They tried
because they've
things.
struggled. Those are
Yeah.
people that have struggled and
They
I want to hear those stories.
they did things even though they were scared or they didn't know what was going to happen. Like they tried things.
Yeah,
And honestly, I think that's why I want to go to the army.
because you want to try
I
things.
want to try it. I want to know, like,
Oh,
even if I fail or even if I hate it, at least I'll know, like, okay, it wasn't the right thing.
yeah.
You
I
know,
guess
like,
so.
you're not going to know unless you try, like, even if you freaking fail.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that because I mean, if that's something that you feel is calling you right now, then do it.
Yeah. But I do love people that have ADHD. Yeah.
Why is that?
Because they're like really fun and like I think they're all funny people.
Yeah,
Like
that's
they
true.
can't help it. Like they're just funny. And I like funny people,
Yeah.
like and they're just all over the place and they're very spontaneous. And I feel like I'm a good friend to have if you
If you
have
have
ADHD
ADHD,
because I'm like a very good balance for that.
probably
I
you're just
attract
like
people.
calm.
Yeah, I
You
attract
do
people that
attract
have
crazy people.
ADHD. What dude? I think you do too, though, for
Well, I was just
sure.
say because like I'm kind of crazy and like you're a balance to me sometimes because you're just like more chill than me and
Or
I'm
I
kind of
just
like
act
too
crazy with
much.
you.
Or you just like compliment it. um, but yeah, no. Several of like the people I've dated have had ADHD, and
Mhm. Mhm.
yeah, they're funny.
Yeah, they're good people. I mean, like
They're good people.
I feel bad for them, like, and it's a real illness, and that's what I hate about the society is that they treat ADHD and depression like it's not a real thing.
Yeah,
I'm getting
it's
all
true.
worked up, like.
My therapist one time told me he was like, after all these things that you're describing, I'm not diagnosing you, but maybe you want to get checked to see if you have ADHD. It looks different in women than it does in men.
Oh.
And I was like, yeah, whatever. And like, I'm not gonna fucking do that. Don't fucking put like, I'm already a hypochondriac. Don't fucking put ideas in my head.
Oh,
Like, there's no way. I've gone through life this fucking far. I don't need to be diagnosed. I'm clearly okay to just be not diagnosed.
I mean, if it's gonna benefit you, then sure. But you have come this far without knowing anything about that. So I don't see the
point. I'm not gonna do that
unless he thinks you. If it's severe, then of course maybe you need medication.
Yeah,
but obviously it's not.
He even told me, he was like, if you are like, I would say it's probably just mild. And
then what's the
I was
point?
Like, then don't fucking tell me shit.
You're just a normal ass person that has a lot on their mind.
Like at this point, everyone has an attention disorder because they're all on our fucking phones and we can't pay attention.
I think one of the prerequisites to work at Trader Joe's is you have to have ADHD.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
constantly so happy there.
Constantly we're doing something. We're told to be busy all the time and like talk to people like about anything like on the spot.
Yeah, like, fuck that. I would suck at Trader Joe's. I don't do well with small talk.
We all had a little bit of ADHD. I'm standing there chilling.
We all had a little bit of coke in the locker room.
Yeah, the wine tastings, that's the thing that we get is talking to customers. But no, I would be observing
for breakfast.
I'd be observing everyone there because I would just, not be doing much. 10, 9, and I'm like, all these people have a little bit of ADHD because they're all fidgeting and doing shit. It's a thing.
Yeah, I don't want to accept that I might have ADHD, and I don't think I do, if I'm being honest. A lot of therapists are full of shit. Not saying my therapist is full of shit, but he might be.
Even if you do have it a little bit, like, that's cool, dude.
Whatever. I don't.
Maybe I do.
I like diagnose myself with AIDS and everything else. Like, I don't need ADHD on my belt.
I don't need any more A's in my diagnosis.
I don't have AIDS, but just to let people know.
You're still afraid.
Yeah, that's why.
Dude, we have to end it.
Done. I'm done. Bye.
We're done.